Tim Grittani has finally done it. That's right, he's made Trading Tickers 2, the sequel to the first one. And you're probably wondering, should I buy it? Is it worth it? I'm gonna share with you what I learned from watching it so that way you can decide for yourself, should you spend the money? Let's go. Something that really stands out in Trading Tickers 2 is the fact that he talks about his biggest mistake that he made and his golden rule that he now has. And that is, he actually lost pretty big quite a few times, and it's no secret. He shares that with everyone on social media, but he has some major losses on breaking a rule of adding to losers and not cutting it when it broke against his plan. So his golden rule is really, don't do that anymore, don't add against it. And he actually downsized dramatically to get better at this. And we're talking about he downsized to risking about $1,000 per trade. And we're talking about a guy who was making about 30 to 40 grand per week. So now he talks about how he was getting lucky if he made 20 to 30 in the month, which right off the bat should tell you this is one humble dude because he can really downsize. What does that equate to you and I? If you're a new trader and you're trying to risk $100 per trade, that means you're risking $10 per trade. So if you're trying to really grow an account and you're like, what should I do? You should downsize. And he shares that he actually downsized, took a huge step back so he can get better at this new rule and get rid of that bad habit and focus on the lesson and grow. He also brings up the idea of VWAP. And he goes way more into detail of how he uses it and why he uses it. He then talks about just some of the ideas of the brokers he now recommends. And instead of recommending them specifically, he also says, you know what? Here are the things I look for because it always changes. You're always asking questions. I know you ask me, I know you probably ask him, what broker should I use? He starts to give you the idea of what you should look for in a broker rather than what broker you should use, because every year, people switch brokers every year. I've been through so many brokers. I went to Centerpoint, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, E-Trade, Trade Zero. So what I'm saying is I've been through so many brokers, right? It's always, you're going to better and better brokers. And now I'm with Cobra Trading. You know I love them because they have the cheapest borrows. They're freaking awesome. They're basically Chick-fil-A, right? So if you reach out to them, don't forget, you get the same deal I got, a badass discount if you do sign up with them. Anyway, let's continue. All of you are also wondering constantly spreadsheets. Like, how do I use them? How do you track? What do you do? What formulas should I use? That is such a big answer that it's hard to answer, right? It's not just one thing, but Tim Grittani does that in this course. He talks about how he tracks, why he tracks, and he shows you it and he builds it for you and shows you how to do it, which is really cool, right? I mean, I know you guys are looking for that, so it's a really cool idea. I'm so thankful he did that because it's gonna help out a lot of traders. And the other thing he talks about, he makes sure that he lets you know to always like and subscribe and hit the bell on my channel because I'm gonna provide you great content. I'm gonna keep you up to date, right? So make sure to do that. And then he talks about the idea of Trading Tickers 1. And you're probably like, why would he waste time doing that? Yeah, shit, I'm trying to like get today. And I'm like, yeah, however, he actually tells you the mistakes he made, why things have changed from Trading Tickers 1 to Trading Tickers 2. He talks about the strategies that he got rid of, the strategies he added, and the strategies that he has kept the exact same. For those who are like, I don't know, Trading Tickers 1 is even good, he explains how he still uses those strategies today. And as I mentioned, new strategies. That's right. He talks about new strategies like front side shorting, buying breakouts, buying the first green day, like strategies that people want to know how to do because not everyone can short sell. So there's some more long strategies in this course. So you're probably wondering what do I think? And I'm going to tell you right now that I personally, you probably already seen the first Trading Tickers video, DVD course review that I've done. If you haven't, make sure to go watch that if you're curious about that one. It's the only course I've ever tried, or DVD, because it's just a one quick DVD that is probably one of the best I've ever seen. The first one that ever came out, because he does live trading, right? On the first one. On this one, he does live trading again. And no one really does that. And he actually shares everything. I mean, everything. It's hard to find someone who you can look at, and it's really hard for me to find someone and be like, man, that guy's like legit. And everyone's always asking me that. So I think this guy is legit. And I like Tim Grittani, and I like this DVD. I think it's a great source to learn from. Now, just because you learn from it doesn't mean you're gonna be great right away. I wasn't. When I watched Trading Tickers 1, it was my favorite one, and I watched it over and over and over again, like probably 100 times, but it taught me so much. And that's what I want to get to you. Just because you learn something doesn't mean you can implement it right away. Just because you watch a basketball player kill it on the court, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, LeBron just freaking did it. You go out in the court, play with your homeboys and get on the, go play street ball. And all of a sudden you can't even dribble. At least me, I can't fucking dribble. So you know what I'm saying? Like you can't dribble. Just because you watch the pros do it doesn't mean you can do it right away. It takes tons of practice. So start practicing.